This is 95.3 Business Now.
Welcome back to Business Now. The World Bank has floated the first edition of its Business Ready survey reports that replaces the former Doing Business report, which was discarded a few years ago. The new report evaluates the business environments of 50 global economies with a focus on three main pillars, namely the regulatory framework, public services, and operational efficiency, with scores ranging from 0 to 100. Rwanda led the sub-Saharan African region as number one and emerged among the top performers and scored 81.31 in operational efficiency to claim the third position globally, following Singapore with 87.33 and Georgia with 84.75. Well, let's bring on Mukhtar Mohammed, an international economist and the CEO of Finance in Mukhtar, for further insights into the latest World Bank report. Good morning. It's great having you on the show, sir.
Thank you for having me, Aramide.
Talk to me, what are the key highlights of this World Bank Business Ready report?
I think for me the key highlight is where they talk about the private sector as the key driver of any developing economy in terms of job provision, in terms of policy movement, in terms even of infrastructure. For me, that's the key driver because we keep saying it that the private sector is the key, the engine room of any economy. In terms of employment, even they said it there, the private sector in developing economy employed over 70%, 80 to 90% of the population of the citizens. So I think for me that's the key driver of this report, putting this private sector as the center, as the engine room of any economical group that could be experienced by any nation.
Are there key insights for Nigeria? Are there key insights that Nigeria can draw from the report?
Yes, definitely. One, like I said, we have to begin to see how policy align with what is expected, especially aligning with what the vision of the private sector is how government can help the private sector grow. It's either in the area of infrastructure, in the area of funding, in the area of monetary policy, in the area of policy also. For me, that is one thing Nigeria was then. You just mentioned the three framework that were spoken about by this report, which are the three pillars, which are regulatory framework, public service, and operational efficiency. For regulatory framework, we have been lacking behind for a very long time because we don't have regulators to regulate the sectors and also to move the sector to a vibrant sector through regulatory policies that are not detrimental to business. That is one. Second, in terms of public service, public service is one of, sorry to say, has not been up to par with even the private sector. And for the economy to grow, which the private sector is the key driver, the public sector also need to play a very, very key role. Operational efficiency also has been a challenge for us. You know why that has been a challenge for us, because of infrastructural challenges. So this for me is the key that Nigerians should know, Nigerians should draw from it. We've done well in the sense of our movement, in the sense of where we were, where we are now. But we need to begin to do more in the area of regulatory framework, public service, and operational efficiency.
I like where you left the conversation now, because my next question is what immediate and medium-term actions should Nigeria prioritize to create a more favorable and unique investment climate based on the findings of this business-ready report of the World Bank?
Yeah, unique investment climate comes with two major policies, and those policies are you come up with policies. One, the intellectual protection, intellectual property protection, dealing with copyright and others. So, and that's one area. Then you look at the judiciary. So, in terms of rule of law, we have not. If you want an investor to come to your area, it looks at some of the intellectual property and rule of law. How far have we gone in these areas? I think we are far behind, especially in the area of rule and law. And when we talk about rule of law, we are not just talking about going to court. We are talking about time frame in terms of getting justice when you are into business. So I think for me, intellectual property protection, copyright, especially, is a big challenge in Nigeria. We've not really paid attention to that. That does not create a friendly environmental framework, especially in an era whereby it's driven by innovation through technology. So we need to look at that, and then also, like I said, legal framework, the rule of law.
What are the learning curves for Nigeria from the successes of top-ranking economies of Rwanda, Singapore, Georgia?
I think we should learn more from Rwanda, creating an enabling environment. I mean, an environment that, like I said, have the rule of law and also have protection for intellectual property. Then public service also is there for the Rwanda thing, and also we also will look at infrastructural development. It's key to private sector success when you have infrastructure. So, and infrastructure these days, we're talking about the digital infrastructure. Thank God we are also looking at that area of digital economy, looking at as a way to create employment for our youth. So if you go to places like Rwanda, you look at the infrastructure in terms of power, in terms of road network, in terms of technological advancement, and in terms of attracting foreign investors into their company, into their country, and it starts right from their airport, the way they welcome the immigration policy. Nigeria immigration policy is we're still using some archaic things that you don't bring in any goods above $50. You are entitled to pay tariff, and that rule has been there for since the colonial era, and you know what $50 was then at that time. So we need to begin to improve on that, and people coming to your country, they have documentation. They are not kept in the airport unnecessarily because of bottleneck from the immigration personnel. So I think those are things that Nigeria need to do in the medium and short term.
All right, Mukhtar Mohammed, international economist and the CEO of Finance with Mukhtar. Thank you for those insights this morning, and do have yourself a great Tuesday ahead.
Thank you for having me.
Well, that's the package of the show for today, the 8th of October. I am Aramide Falorosho. Do have yourself a profitable day ahead. It's bye for now.
This is 95.3